欢迎大家来到今天的中外马业交流会。我们等一下会议将会准时开始。今天我们预计有5位嘉宾，来自英国、英国、法国还有荷兰3个马术大国的嘉宾来给我们做一个分享。那其中有1位嘉宾呢，可能会有一些接入的问题，所以不一定能出席，但是我们起码有4位这个非常资深的嘉宾，而且他们都是女士，来跟我们做这个分享。那如果大家还有其他的同事朋友，或者是马圈里面的这个朋友，他们想要加入我们这个会议的话呢，现在大家也可以通过分享我们这个会议的信息给到他们，可以加入。那我们这个会议呢，会是持续1个小时，很准时的，一般都会很准时的，在这1个小时里面呢，跟大家分享一些最前沿的国际马业的最新动态和资讯。那可能大家会了解呢，我们现在今天的这个中外马业交流会这一个会议呢，是我们这个会议从2021年9月份开始到现在的第22期，就是说相当于是每个月我们都会举办一届这样的线上会议，让大家呢可以跟国外的这些品牌、企业和协会进行互动，听一下他们的介绍。那特别在这22期线上会议中呢，有来自13个国家和地区的50多个品牌、企业和协会，50多位国内外的演讲嘉宾，还有1200多位线上的中国听众来加入了我们这个会议，所以非常感谢大家的支持，特别感谢有3大官方协会合作机构，特别是英国的 BETA 国际马术那个贸易协会，还有就是两个来自法国诺曼底大区的马业协会，给我们大力的支持。那这个中外马业交流会呢，其实它也是一个疫情的一个产物啊。在过去的3年里面，大家都受到疫情的影响，特别是不能够出国，国外的嘉宾也不能到中国来。那现在疫情呢，已经让我们的生活已经恢复到疫情前的这个基本上恢复了，所以呢，国际交流呢也逐渐在恢复正常，大家出国啊。国外的嘉宾来中国也比较容易，所以呢，中外马业交流会呢即将完成它的历史使命，进入到下一阶段的发展过程中。所以有2.0的升级版本，我们正在筹备当中。那希望大家呢通过我们这个微信群还有小助手持续关注我们的下一步的行动，还有我们下一步的活动。虽然我们这个线上会议是到这一期就会暂时结束，但是我们相信我们的2.0版本会满足大家更多更新的要求。那我们也是再次向各位介绍一下我们的2位主持人。那我是周乙，我是常驻在上海，但也经常到全国各地去出差。我的使命，我认为我就希望是加强中外马圈的一个交流和合作。那我之前呢是法国马业在中国的代表，也非常荣幸通过这22期的这个中外马业交流会跟大家进行了非常长期的一个交流和互动，希望之后呢继续得到大家的支持和关注。那我把话筒交给我的另外一位联合主持人李文。
大家好，我是李文。那么过去1年陪伴大家连续12期进行中外马业交流会，我感到非常的开心，也希望在这过程中大家能学到很多的跟中外，尤其是跟国外的一些马术品牌和马术制作商等一些客户的一些介绍。那么我之前是学英语的，然后在英国留学之后回来之后，也是一直在赛马和马术方面做解说，包括像卫视啊、像新浪等马术平台，也曾经给爱尔兰 纯驯马事务部做了1年多的中方代表，那么也很感谢这个平台。那么我们也可以看一下我们1.0版本的我们中外马业交流会的现在的构架。那么每期大概会请到3到5位这样的国际马术代表，比如说我们今天至少会有4位嘛，也有可能是5位的代表。时间的话，每一期大概是1个小时，时间大概是每个月的第1个周一的下午3点钟。那么我们大部分的讲者呢都是用英文来讲，但是我们的 PPT 呢已经帮大家翻译成中文了。我每次的线上的交流机会呢都是只有线上的，所以说希望大家能够准时的参加，因为它确实没有重播的机会。那么如果大家有任何的问题呢，也可以咨询我们的小助手。我们每一次演讲结束，就是如果您已经在这个我们的微信群里边进行了接龙，我们每一次演讲一共有几个讲者，每个讲者之后，我们的主持人都会提根据刚刚演讲的内容的一个小问题。如果您能正确的答出答案，并且已经参与我们的接龙的话，就会得到我们付出的一个小奖品。那么我们也希望会有更多的听众能获得我们的奖品，所以我们每一期每一个答对问题的人最多只能获得1件。好的，Zoe。
今天我们嘉宾比较多，内容也比较多，我们就事不宜迟，有请第1位演讲嘉宾，他是来自法国的一位律师，他很神奇，他们律师呢，他们这个律所呢是专门有一个部门是从事跟马业相关的这些法律咨询和纠纷的所以说可以是非常的垂直的这么一个服务，随着大家更多的到国外去买马呀，去投资啊，说不定大家以后会有这样方面的需求。所以今天呢，我们就请 Holly 来介绍一下他的业务。Holly, the ground is yours.
Thank you. Hi everybody. My name is Holly Jessopp, and I work in the law firm INSCIO AVOCATS, which is based in Paris and which has a department which is dedicated to equine law. Next slide. So about us. So as I said, we are a small boutique Paris law firm, and our equine law department is made up of 2 partners and 1 associate who work almost exclusively with all of the main stakeholders from the horse industry. Our clients are mainly professionals, but can range from any person wanting to be involved in the horse industry, either directly or indirectly. So we're going to be working with yard owners, sport horse investors, horse racing investors, professional riders, but then we also work as well with vets, equine vets, and also any industrial company. So we can who has an interest in the horse industry. So that can be saddle makers, food developers and distributors. Basically, any company or person who works with the horse industry directly or indirectly can work with us, and we work with them. We are specialized in the equestrian sports, so eventing, show jumping, and dressage. And we also work with horse racing, trotting, flat racing, and the jumps. In France, it's 2 completely different industries. So we provide different services depending on whether you're from the equestrian sport world or whether you're from the horse racing world. We can also be involved with people investing in leisure riding, tourism, but it's a smaller part of what we do. We also consider that equine law is essentially international. So our clients are based in France, but they're also based in Ireland, in the UK, in the Netherlands, Germany, Canada, America, and to work with these clients and to provide them the best service. We are partners with an equine law based in the Netherlands, which is straight equine law, in order for us to be able to reach out to other specialized equine lawyers who know what they're talking about, who know the differences between each horse industry, as it does depend on each different country's culture. Our advantage is that we're based in Paris, which means that we can reach out to the Normandy and the Brittany breeding grounds, but we also have the access and close access for our clients to all the big showgrounds, which are based around Paris. And also, we also have big connections with Belgium and the Netherlands and Germany. So that is a big part of our firm. We are also members of the French Equine Law Association, which is made up of exclusively of equine lawyers who work in France. And the French Rural Law Association, as a big part of what we do, also reaches out to agricultural law, which is quite a big part of what we do. Okay, so next slide. So our main activities, as I said on the first part, our main activities are that we do a large panel of activities, because anything connected to the horse industry, we do. So we can range from business law to intellectual property to rural and agricultural law to doping and sports breaching and regulations. If we group that into three different sections, we work on legal advice on equestrian and racing activities. So that's basically going to be contracts, setting up companies, helping with developing. So we work with a certain amount of partners who are also specialized in the equine law. So accountants, specialized equestrian real estate companies, in order to be able to provide legal advice to any project which is interested in the horse in the equine law. We also work with startups who have inventing and innovative projects. So we can do anything. We really have a large section of activities on that. Obviously, the next part is the litigation, which is a big part of what we do. So we have litigated over the last years on the sales and purchase operations, but that has, for good reason, reduced, even disappeared in France because of the recent changes on the EU consumer guarantees. We litigate before civil and commercial jurisdictions, depending on the type of litigation, and we can go before the criminal litigations in some very specific cases. And obviously our litigations are more and more international, because once you get into the big equestrian sport and onto high professional levels, then we obviously have different countries mixing together within the EU, but also with the US and Canada, and obviously with the UK, which has slightly changed since Brexit. The last part of what we do is family office, which is basically a concierge service in which people come to see us with a certain project and they want a full service and to protect their interests when investing in the horse industry. It's often people who have wanted to invest and who have done so and have not had good experience because because the contracts weren't sufficiently protective, or because they trusted people they shouldn't have. And so they come to us because they still want to keep on working in the horse industry and keep on investing, but they just want more legal protection. And so that is something that we provide by working through our different partners. Okay, next slide. So our best-selling products. It's difficult because we do so much as a law firm, but I did go over what we are trying to develop and which is having success at the moment. So we have the first service, which is a new service, which is dedicated to buying and selling horses. And this is something that we've been able to develop through our experience in litigation, so in France and in the EU. We have extensive litigation in France because of the EU consumer guarantee, which meant that horse sales could be cancelled for behavioural issues as well as any physical and vetting issue. So now we get to the point where we can protect our professional sellers by providing adapted contracts and creating a general security when there is something wrong with the horse, which means that they can actually go forward when selling perhaps difficult horses. So we can provide on advice to who to sell and how to contract it. But we can also provide legal advice to our buyers who want to invest a lot of money into some horses. And that is a new service that we've started by doing due diligence operations, which means that we are able to scroll through all of the sporting and the international databases. We can check what the horse has been doing, whether there have been any pauses in the activity, which means that the buyer can then go and ask the correct questions. It also means that the pre-purchase exam might be slightly more adapted because the vet can also inquire as to the reasons why perhaps the sort of sport horse went down in levels, or why it went up, or why it stopped for a certain amount of time. The answers are generally reasonable and they make sense. But sometimes we have surprises, and which the clients are happy to understand and to know about. It's also, we found, quite important when investing in stallions and even in broodmares, because of the embryos and the selling of the straws. So we had a recent case in which a client wanted to invest in a stallion, and we found out that the original owner was still distributing the straws in Canada. And so once we found that out, and we made sure we were able to contract it and create a distribution agreement, which meant that the seller in Canada could still distribute it, but our client in France knew what was happening, and we had contracted it correctly. And so that was a good, because otherwise our client wouldn't have known about the stallion still being distributed in Canada. Okay, and so our next service, we provide lots of litigation on sport horse breeding issues. And so to finish off, we're basically able to provide any legal services to any person wanting to invest in the horse industry in France, but also into the rest of Europe by reaching out to our different legal partners. We are able to help people investing in equine, legal, real estate, any sport and racing horses, just to have fun or to ride or to find it, or to have a professional collaboration with the professional riders. And even more generally, in any equine company, we provide full legal advice to any person wishing to invest in this way. And thank you for listening.
Thank you, Holly. 非常感谢 Holly 这个律师跟我们的介绍啊。那今天关于他这个 speech 的问题呢，我问一个很简单的问题，就是他这个服务他提供在法国以及哪些国家或者是哪个区域他这些法律服务他提供了法国，但是他也可以就覆盖到法国以外的哪些区域。好的，等一下我们来揭晓答案，大家可以在这个对话框里面填出你的答案他讲到几个地方如果你答对一个，我们都算是答对。好的，下一位演讲嘉宾呢 Marion 他这个临时这个身体有点问题不太舒服，所以今天就不能来跟我们进行一个分享。那相信参加过我们几次会议的朋友们呢，都知道他们这个公司呢，主要是代理了一些国际欧洲的一些马具和马鞍的品牌，还有马术服饰和装备的一些品牌。那相信呢，对很多想要批发进口的分销商或是马具店会对他们比较了解也比较希望去跟他们取得联系。那如果你们对他代理的这些品牌感兴趣的话呢，可以会后跟我们的小助手联系，我们可以单独让你们联系起来。Okay, so our second speaker is Marion. She cannot join us today, so we invite the next speaker, Claire Williams, to give us a speech. So 所以我们今天的第三位演讲嘉宾呢，是来自英国马术贸易协会 BETA 的执行董事 Claire Williams 女士她来给我们介绍一下这个协会他们的业务和活动内容这个协会呢是英国非常重要的一个国家型的一个协会，然后呢他们也是我们这个中外马业交流会的3大这个官方支持协会机构之一，所以非常欢迎 Claire. Claire, it's your turn.
Thank you very much. Ni hao. Good afternoon, everyone. As Zoe said, my name is Claire Williams and I run the British Equestrian Trade Association. We are there to promote the best of British and overseas equestrian trade and offer a range of services available to the Chinese retailers and equestrian centre owners and other business people and manufacturers. And next screen, please, Zoe. So we are really the only trade association for manufacturers and suppliers of equestrian equipment to customers around the world. Despite our name being British, we are indeed very international in nature. We were set up in 1978 very much to meet the needs of the equestrian industry in the UK, and then over the last nearly 45 years we have expanded from there. We have members in over 25 countries around the world, with now nearly 850 members, and offer a range of services to those members. The primary benefits for the association is we lobby and represent our members to government at the highest level, both in the UK and overseas. We offer a range of other services, including lobbying and representation. We offer training courses. I've spoken about those here before. These are very much targeted at both manufacturers and retailers, but as well consumers, and we do a lot of courses here for the pony club, for riding clubs, and for the other disciplines. And the topics tend to be very similar. We talk about safety, the sale and supply of medicines, feed and supplements and feeding practices, saddlery and saddle fitting, as well as bits and bridle fitting. So a range of topics that I'm sure are interesting to all of you. We also run 3 very well-known accreditation schemes. The Beta Body Protector Standard, which we set up in the early and late 80s, is still there and is recognised not only in the UK, but in many countries around the world. And in fact, we have a license holder based in China who produces these to the Beta standard. We also set up the prohibited substances scheme to help manufacturers reduce the risk of contamination from naturally occurring prohibited substances in their feed. And then we also have a similar scheme for feed suitable for horses and ponies who may have gastric ulcers. We also offer business advice, development and export services, and also market research. Thank you very much, Zoe. So the Beta side of what we do, our main activity, I've already talked about. The other important part of what we do is the equestrian trade news. That is very much the voice of the industry, read by saddlers, retailers and feed merchants and other equestrian related businesses around the world. It's the largest B2B publication for the equestrian trade, we believe, in the world because of its news, views. It has product launches and a huge distribution now. We publish it in paper format 10 times a year, but we also mail it to 3,000, that's mailed, the hard copy is mailed to some 3,000 readers, 2,500 of which are retailers. We also send 4,000 digital copies out, and then we also, in addition, have an e-news that goes out weekly to 12,000 equestrian members of the trade. It's the ideal way to promote your business. Not only is it the greatest way to find out about what's going on in the equestrian world here and around the world, but it's also where you can also promote your product. So it can be either accept advertising in hard format or in digital format. Companies can also place inserts to tell particular retailers about their product launches. And we also offer a mailing service via email so that you can target which part of that mailing list you're interested in. In terms of the readership, we know that nearly half of the people who receive ETN, it's actually read by between 2 and 4 readers, and 82% of recipients of the magazine actually read it every month. If you're interested in finding more, you can go to the website shown, go back, please. Go to the website shown at the bottom of the page, and that will give you the options to either subscribe to the e-news, which is free, subscribe to the magazine, which is charged for and is available in digital format, and all members of Beta actually get that free of charge. Now moving on to Beta International. Next screen, please. Beta International, as I say, was one of the main reasons why Beta was actually set up as a trade association. It has been running for over 40 years. This year, for the first time, we have condensed it into 2 days, very much in response to the exhibitors who would like to keep it to 2 days and be absolutely ram full. We moved from Birmingham NEC to Stoneleigh equivalent, which is about a 15-minute drive from the from Birmingham Airport, and it is this year running in the same format as it has done. It's free to attend, so it's open to retailers and professionals in the equestrian industry, and we have manufacturers from around the world, from this year as far away as China, Pakistan, India, as well as European exhibitors. We even have an exhibitor from the Ukraine, which we're very pleased about. It is the place where you can find new suppliers, find out more about what's been happening in the business world. We have a new product showcase into which every exhibitor can place one product free of charge, but it's open for additional products to be placed. And this is a focus so that visitors can go to one place on site, see what new products have been launched, and then go to the stands to find out more. It really is the place to find innovative, new and niche products. Beta International is particularly known for the innovation of the products that we display there. Every product in the new product showcase then goes into our new product awards, which is divided up into 7 categories: feed, clothing, horse care, horseware and equipment, saddlery and tack, and safety. Next screen, please. And here you can get a small overview of what the type of show it is. There's also a video on the Beta International website, beta-int.com, where you can get more of a feel for what goes on at the show. It provides more than anything else for our industry a networking venue, not only to purchase and order product, but to meet business partners to deliver what you need from equestrian products. As I said, it's a real platform for launching and marketing new products from China, and that's why we're very pleased to see Chinese manufacturers come this year. It also, through ETN, offers you an editorial platform. We have a bumper edition of ETN in September, which doubles as the show catalogue, which is available at the show free of charge. And that you'll find out everything you need to know more about products available at the show. The new product awards are awarded on the first evening so that companies can talk about them the next day. And we also have a series of CPDs, continuing professional development, so topics and subjects, as well as practical demos of products and our seminar theatre, so that people can learn how products work and see more about what they're planning to order in the future. We also this year, for the first time in 4 years, have the return of the Beta Gala Dinner and the Beta Business Awards, which will be awarded at a nearby hotel on the evening of the Sunday of the trade show. So it's a chance for people to party, share in the enjoyment of others being recognised for the excellence of their business in the year past. So I do hope that you are available to join us at Beta International this year. Please contact us via the website if you're interested in either visiting or exhibiting. We do have some few stands still available. Thank you very much, Zoe.
Thank you, Claire. 谢谢 Claire 给我们的介绍。那这一次呢，他不但给我们介绍了他们这个协会的一个功能和业务，他还给我们带来了新的消息，就是在9月份他们会有这个国际贸易展览会在英国举办。那他也是表示了欢迎，如果大家作为参观者也好，作为这个展位展示商也好，希望如果大家对他们这个展览会感兴趣的话呢，也欢迎通过他们的网站去跟他们取得联系，或者是会后联系我们的小助手，我们也会帮你联系上 Claire。然后呢，这个展会呢是一个纯英 然后呢，就是可以说是全世界各地的这个马具产品、马具用品、马具装备的这些制造商还有品牌的一个大集合。那如果我们中国的制造商、中国的这个批发商想要去那里开拓市场的话呢，我想会是一个非常好的一个机遇。那非常感谢 Claire 给我们的分享。那我想要问的问题就是，他们这个 BETA 这个协会一共有多少位有多少企业会员？他刚刚在第一页的时候介绍到。好的，位 Joy 答对了，非常感谢大家的参与，850位会员，所以是这个企业会员，所以是非常多的这么一个数字。那上一集的答案呢？是怦然心动，有回答正确，第一个回答正确，那请你在会后请2位在会后联系我们小助手领取奖品。接下来第4位也是同样来自英国的演讲嘉宾，我交给李文来介绍。
我们接下来介绍的是一位来自英国的马鞍的制造商，是 Carson 下的。然后我们请到了他的常务同志，同时也是他的创始人 Carson。那么这家呢也是有30多年，将近40年的制造历史。他本人也是一位非常厉害的骑手。那么我把话筒交给 Sue。Now Sue, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Welcome to Sue Carson Saddles. I'm Sue Carson, the founder of Sue Carson Saddles. We specialise in high quality saddles. We're looking for international distributors, which is why I wanted to talk to you today. We design and manufacture top quality, tailor-made saddles, incorporating an air panel into the dressage, eventing and show jumping disciplines. Page 2, please. I established the company over 35 years ago as I couldn't find the right saddle for myself. I have been riding and competing for 55 years. I presently specialise in dressage, both competing and judging up to Grand Prix. Previously, I have evented, including being an FEI horse trials judge, and I've also show jumped and been involved in showing. This wealth of experience I've been able to put into saddle designs to ensure the perfect fit for both horse and rider. The company never stands still, as I'm always looking to improve the product all the time as horse breeding evolves and the horses we are fitting are changing in shape. We are also looking for greater performance from our athletes in our modern sport today. We supply both amateurs and professionals, so cover the full spectrum of clients. The saddles are handcrafted in the UK by qualified master saddlers, and we as a company are members of the British Equestrian Trade Association and the Society of Master Saddlers. Next page, please. Our main activities: manufacturing. Our saddle makers are hand-picked and have a wealth of experience ensuring quality and product consistency are maintained at all times. I carry out all the design work from the horse and rider point of view. I then work with the saddle makers to decide how we are going to achieve the design required. We work very closely with our team of fitters, distributors and clients to come up with modifications and new designs to ensure horse and rider performance and comfort. The design. The comfort for both horse and rider is paramount, so the trees and panels are designed to the horse, which then can be adjusted as the horse changes shape. The seat, flaps and blocks are tailor-made to the rider to ensure security without blocking the rider. We use trees which allow us to adjust the width on site to ensure the perfect fit. We use an air panel which gives maximum comfort to horse and rider. The panel is adjusted whilst the saddle is on the horse, So we can level the saddles at trot for the dressage and showing saddles. The jump saddles we set level at canter. The panels of your saddle are filled with air. The system of airbags is designed to replace the flocking in conventional saddles to provide a soft, flexible and even bearing surface without pressure points. The air panel gives your saddle a constant, flexible layer of shock-absorbing air as thick as your saddle's panel. The air increases the sensitivity to aids from the lower back and seat. By removing any saddle discomfort, the horse can clearly focus on your aids. The adjustability is perfect for horses who are young and changing shape, and also those on rehabilitation. With all the adjustable features of our saddles, it does mean that the customer is buying a saddle for life, which we can adjust to the horse as the horse changes shape. It can be adjusted to go onto their next horse, so it is truly an investment for a lifetime. We also work with a lot of injured riders, as we have such a large range of saddles, and the air panels, it does give us the opportunity to get the rider as comfortable as possible. Having had 2 hip replacements myself, I fully understand as to how we can help riders to ensure they are as comfortable as possible. Then there is the customization. We have a huge range of colours to choose from for the back cantles, the piping around the edge of the saddle, and crystals to go into the cantles. This part of the selection, the client loves to put their own identity onto the saddle. Our service. Our after-sales service is of paramount importance, so we are looking for a partner to share the same values. It is essential to maintain the perfect fit that saddles are refitted every 3 to 6 months as the horse changes shape and balance through training. We have been planning the export strategy for several years and now feel we have the right business model, which has been tried and tested in the UK extensively and has been very well received in the USA. Next page, please. Our unique selling points of the saddles. Fully adjustable saddles. The trees can be put into a press and altered on site, giving the perfect tree width for each horse. The panels are adjusted whilst the rider is on the horse, allowing the balance to be set in real time. Bearing in mind a horse's back angle changes at every pace, we are able to assess the perfect balance of each horse and rider. The jump saddles are set to canter. The dressage saddles are mainly set at trot, but this can vary depending on where the horse is in its training. Sometimes we need to set at canter as the horse is croup high. On the advanced horses, we need to consider the piaffe passage, as the angle of the back can also be very different. We have 9 dressage saddles, 8 jumping saddles, 3 GP saddles, and 3 show saddles, giving the horse and rider a large range to choose from. All the seats vary in where they sit the rider, which allows us to assess where the rider likes to sit and where the horse prefers to carry the rider for optimum performance. On many of the models, we have custom block placement for the rider to give the rider the maximum support without blocking the rider into a position. Next page, please. Unique benefits of being a Sue Carson Saddles distributor. We offer a full product training, both face-to-face and online and on the telephone. We will send our international sales manager out to work with you and your clients. We offer a telephone helpline, which is open 24 hours a day. We turn orders around on average within 6 weeks as receiving the order and the deposit. We have a tried and tested profitable business model in the UK and overseas. We offer targeted annual bonuses and a margin growth scheme. We also have a tried and tested system for accessing the horse and rider needs to assure they get the best saddle for them. We are looking for a distributor. We are looking to build a network of distributors in China. You will need to have an in-depth knowledge of the equine industry, preferably experience as a saddle fitter. We have built a successful business based on quality product and excellent customer service with unparalleled brand support. We are looking for you to share the same high standards of customer service. You need the drive and ambition to develop the market in China. If this is you, please contact us to discuss this exciting opportunity. Thank you very much for listening, and I look forward to hearing from you.
Okay, thank you, Sue. Thank you very much. 好，我们刚刚苏在过去的10几分钟里面为我们介绍了这个有将近40年历史的英国的高品质的马鞍制造商 Carson Sellers。那么我问一个非常简单的问题，关于数字的，他们介绍自己可以在很多地方进行铺货。比如说你是一个想买马鞍的人，那么我们的问题就是马鞍订单在下单后的几周内发货？几周内发货呢？就是一个简单的1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、9、10，几周内发货呢？好，我们看到了有几位是先答出来的。
但怦然心动在第一个问题里面已经答对了，获得了我们奖品。那所以会顺延到第2位答对的陈化获得我们这个奖品。
好，接下来我们来看一下。好的，我们还有机会。我们今天的第4位也是最后一位讲者是来自英国，我们之前已经介绍过的亚伯大学的 Debbie Nash 博士。那么他也在我们的演讲之前赶过来了，我们事不宜迟，把话筒交给他。Hi Debbie, now the floor is yours.
Hi there, can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Good morning, hello there, hi, nice to see you.
Yeah, nice to see you.
So, well, thanks for asking us back this morning to one of the horse business webinars. So my name's Debbie and I'm a lecturer here at Aberystwyth University, and one of the suite of schemes that we offer here are in the equine topics. So I'd like to talk about our equine provision here in Aberystwyth this morning, or this afternoon for you in China, and also talk a little bit more in detail about where the university is for anyone who's perhaps not familiar with our location. Next slide, please. Thank you. So we are located, we're going to talk about the location. We're also going to talk about the university itself, a little bit of history of the university, and I'll talk about our particular department under which the equine schemes fall, and then the degree schemes in particular and our facilities. So that's hopefully what I'll cover this morning. It will be rather short because there's so much to cover in a short space of time, but I hope it gives you a flavour of what we can offer here in Aberystwyth. So first of all, next slide please. Thank you. For anyone who's not familiar with our location, we're right in the western side of the UK, and in fact we're located in the nation of Wales, and we're right on the west coast of Wales, as you can see in the image on the left hand side there. Our main teaching campus, where all of our students will come every day to be taught, is in Aberystwyth itself, so you can just see the town of Aberystwyth on the map on the right hand side there. But it's also worth mentioning that we also have several satellite farms and teaching facilities to support across all of our courses. So we also teach veterinary science here, we teach animal science, agriculture. So in order to support that, we've got a number of farms, including a 400, nearly 500 head dairy farm. We've got an upland research grassland platform at Pethperan, but importantly for everyone who's watching this morning, we also have a small equine unit as well. So we have about a 25 hectare or just under a 50 acre equine unit. We can stable about 55 horses on site, and that includes our own horses for teaching as well as student horses as well. So that's a bit of an overview of our location. This is a lovely image now of Aberystwyth itself. So you can see the university there in the foreground, and it overlooks the town, which you can see in the background there. And obviously we're a coastal location, so you can see we've got a lovely mix of the seaside and also the Cambrian Mountains, which we just nestle in front of as well. So it's a really lovely location. It's a very rural location, but the town itself is completely focused on students. So it is a university town. So there's plenty of lively nightlife and cultural activities that go on here. So the town is very much focused and geared up to students. It's also worth mentioning that this year is our 150-year anniversary. So on the previous slide there, you can see our little 150 logo. So we're very proud of the fact that we're one of the longest, well, we are the longest standing university in Wales, and we've been celebrating some of those events over the last 12 months. Something that might be of interest to our Chinese participants this morning is that back in the 1960s, the then Prince Charles, who is now obviously His Majesty King Charles, came to study at Aberystwyth for a semester. And as the Prince of Wales at that time, it was important that he learnt Welsh. So we speak our own language here, and he came to learn that. And if any of your participants have watched the Netflix series, The Crown, there was a whole episode based in Aberystwyth, and we had filming here to sort of present that part of the royal family's history. Next slide, please. So within our department then, we are the Department of Life Sciences, and I should say you may have heard of us of a different name. We've just recently had a rebranding and a rename. But we offer, within this department, we offer biology, zoology, microbiology, but we also have a suite of schemes that come under the animal science sort of theme, really. And that includes a bachelor's degree in animal science and veterinary bioscience, but also equine science and equine and veterinary bioscience. And I should say we're the longest standing provider of equine specific education in the UK. So we started our schemes sort of in the late 1970s. And as I also mentioned, it's now possible to do veterinary science here at Aberystwyth. So we've just completed our second year of training vets as well, although I won't be speaking too much about that at present, but we'll be focusing on the equine science schemes for this morning. Next slide, please. So what do our equine schemes entail? So we have an equine science scheme, and then we have an equine and veterinary bioscience scheme, which, as you can imagine, focuses a lot more on the supporting the veterinary industry. I should say that our equine schemes are pure science degrees. So we don't include riding as part of our schemes because there's just too much important science to fit in. But as a student here, you can ride as an added extra at our equine centre, and you can, of course, bring your own horses and compete those as well. But the schemes themselves, it's really important to remember that they are based on the sort of biological science of zoology. So the level of study is exactly the same as one of our zoology schemes, or, for example, biology or microbiology. The difference is that we're just using the horse as a model for those biological principles, rather than using something like a parasitic worm or an elephant or something like that. So it's really important that we sort of reiterate the degree and the level of teaching and learning that we have on our courses. We have what we call a common first year. So in year one, across all of our animal science schemes, we have very similar modules. So it means that if you get to the end of year one and you think, do you know, I think I would rather do animal science, or if you're doing animal science and you think I'd rather have done an equine scheme, you can actually switch into one of our other schemes without any delay whatsoever. So there's a natural progression between the schemes. And in terms of the topics that you would study anatomy and physiology, and this is very much focused on the horse and will include a series of dissections. So, for example, the equine limbs and the equine gut. We're very strong in breeding as well. So again, we have bespoke equine breeding modules, and particularly as you get through to your 2nd and 3rd year, where you can start to specialise more. And we've got experts here who have really wide experience working in the stud industry. We're also incredibly strong in nutrition. So one of our research strengths is in nutrition. So you'll get to learn about not only the digestive anatomy and physiology, but also how to analyse feed, just like you would do if you're out there working in the equine nutrition industry or even the animal feed industry. And also the more sort of pure topics like immunology and also disease diagnosis and control as well. And there are some nice images on the right hand side there that show some of the use of our horses at the yard. So we do live sort of anatomy teaching by doing the horses inside out presentation there. So you can see we paint the skeleton or the muscles on the horse, and we teach how that links to actual locomotion and biomechanics. And the image in the middle there is our Illumina sequencer. So this is effectively enabling you to completely sequence the DNA from horses, and we can do that by collecting hair samples and looking for genes of interest as well. Next slide, please.
Hi, Debbie, 5 minutes.
Yeah, okay. So our facilities, as you can see there, I've talked a little bit about the Equine Centre. So it is completely there for the students. It's there as a teaching tool for them. It is not necessarily a commercial enterprise, which we're using to make money otherwise. It's a British Horse Society approved equine yard. So that means that as well as your studies, if you would like to come and train for your BHS stages, then we can provide that training too. We also get visiting teachers as well. So we often have fellows of the BHS come and teach on our schemes. So we recently have, or quite regularly, we have Patrick Print and Jonathan Pett as well, who often come to Aberystwyth sort of on a monthly basis. Next slide, please. We're very much a research-led teaching facility. So all of the staff here that will teach you have at least a PhD. And we have to run our own research projects with our own PhD students, and we have to publish papers in the scientific literature. So in order to support that, then we have state-of-the-art laboratory facilities. So you can see there we've got in the top left-hand image, we have our tissue culturing facility, which is one of the areas that I do research in myself. But we've also got larger scale facilities as well. We've got the veterinary teaching education centre, where we've got an enormous dissecting facility, which we share with the vet students as well. We also have the Vet Hub 1, which is a new facility where we have category 3 labs, so we can work with pathogens of the most aggressive nature, and that links us with commercial research as well. Next step, please. Thank you. So one thing that we're often asked for is, well, if I do an equine degree, what career can I go into? I've listed, as you can see, a very long list there. I'll just highlight a couple of them. A lot of our students go into nutrition companies after they graduate with us. So they go and work for companies like Bailey's Horse Feeds or Dodson and Horrell, and they are there to help support the development of new feeds, for example, and ration formulation. A lot of our students then go on to be vets, so we're quite well regarded by the vet schools in the UK. So I can't think of anyone who's applied who hasn't gotten in. So our very much science-led degree is seen quite favourably by them. And quite recently, I've had a graduate who's joined the British Horse Racing Authority in the UK. So they basically run racing, and she's a part of their anti-doping team. So she is responsible for organising and collecting urine samples to basically check that no banned substances are contained within those horses when they've been racing. Next slide, please. And as a little bit of a sort of a link back to royalty, we have had some of our students go and work for the royal household. So particularly those images on the right hand side there, you can see one of our graduates, Jo, who went to work at the Royal Mews, and she was responsible for managing and also riding the carriage horses, and you can see her then. So this was from a few years ago. She actually escorted Her Majesty the Queen into Royal Ascot, and she was also did the same job in the state opening of Parliament as well. So we have had some really prestigious careers in terms of our student destinations. Final slide, please. Yeah, so thank you very much for your attention. The image there is our local beach, which is about 7 or 8 miles away from us, where you can take our horses onto. The image there is myself and a colleague, and we took university horses, which we often do for a good old spin down the beach. So it's just lovely to have that facility. So hopefully, again, that illustrates what a lovely location we have here at Aberystwyth University. So on that note, thank you very much for your attention this morning or this afternoon.
Great, thanks, Debbie. Thank you very much. 刚刚Debbie老师在10多分钟的演讲中，跟我们详细介绍了英国亚伯大学很多跟马相关、马科学、马医学相关的课程，跟它的内容非常多。那么我们不问特别细节的，问一个简单的，比如说他在设施这一页提到了。这个亚伯大学有受英国马会 BHS 认可的马场，而且可以获得BHS 的马匹护理和骑师资格认证。那么这个问题就是，它这个 BHS 的马匹护理和骑师资格认证是 BHS 的第几级或第几届呢？我们可以看到有人答了，但是我们问的是马属这个马匹护理和骑乘的。我们有一个正确答案了，我们说1到4是可以获得最高4届的这个超二流，是正确的第一个答对问题的。那我们稍后跟小助手联系一下，可以获得我们的一个奖品。感谢。
那今天的4位嘉宾演讲之后呢，我们的中外马业交流会就来到了我们的一个暂时的结束啊，我们不得不向大家说再见。那我们这个再见呢是暂时的，是因为我们这个形式线上会议每1月1次线上会议的这个形式呢，我们会将它做一个升级，还做一个改变。所以呢，很快的希望跟大家在我们的2.0版本跟大家继续交流，继续见面。如果大家有什么好的意见呢，也可以通过小助手跟我们留言。那在我们还没有见面之前呢，就希望大家通过扫描小助手的2维码加入我们的微信群。这样的话呢，我们在群里面保持联系，你可以第一时间知道我们下一步的推出的活动。再次感谢大家，谢谢我们的 speaker，Thank you all speakers， 谢谢李文，谢谢大家，再见。
Okay, bye.
Bye bye，Thank you。